So as I was browsing Twitter, I found a pretty terrible video of Justin Trudeau. Not only the content of the video is terrible, but the production value and the acting, I guess, is really terrible as well. So let's just take a watch on this one.
I'm Mariam Monsef, Minister of Status of Women, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
First, Minister of Status of Women. That sounds bad, like just phonetically or how you would say it, but what the fuck? The status of women? Is there a status of men, Minister? No? Is that just definitive proof that the government is sexist? Huh. Interesting. Hadn't even thought of that until literally right then, but I guess it kind of is. Anyway, let's continue.
To launch the first ever Gender Equality Week in Canada.
Cringe.
Gender Equality Week is a chance to celebrate the progress we've made and reflect on the work we have left to do. Because advancing gender equality benefits all of us.
Are you going to talk about any of that in this video? Are you going to talk about the things you've done and the things you have left to do? You'll find out, but no, not really.
It's not only women and girls, but men and boys and people of all gender identities.
Thank you, Mary. I'm really proud that we're celebrating our first Gender Equality Week here in Canada. And it's great to be with you to talk about the ways that gender equality benefits all of us.
You've often said gender equality is about doing the right thing, and advancing it is also the smart thing to do. Can you elaborate on that?
Well,
remember, kids, feminism is a moral issue, not only political. If you're not a feminist, you are immoral.
There's no question that if we want to tackle the biggest problems we face, not just as a country, but as a world, whether it's growing economies that work for everyone or creating more opportunities for folks to succeed, gender equality is key. Because when everyone can participate fully, you have a bigger workforce, more ideas and creativity, and better decision-making.
So here we see the first fallacy of Mr. Trudeau's argument. You have a bigger workforce. Well, the workforce isn't really changing. Let's just be honest. Women or men who are at home and taking care of the household and raising the children are not out of the workforce in a way. Yes, they do not pay taxes. They are not considered part of the workforce. Fair enough. But they are still providing plenty of value to the society. When a woman stays home and takes care of her children, not only do her children end up better off, which is a future investment for the society, but her husband is happier too. He's more productive at work, he has more fun, his life is better, just like hers is. This separation of labor is something that's been in human societies since, well, they started. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason for that. Now again, I don't think that it has to be men at work, women at home. I wouldn't particularly care if it was 50-50. Wouldn't bother me. And I would even consider being a stay-at-home dad myself. That's not my issue here. My issue is that to say that these people who are at home are not contributing is, well, it's very disrespectful to them. Firstly, I have plenty of respect for men and women who stay at home and take care of their children while their partner works and makes money. But it's also just wrong. I mean, those people are providing a value. A clean home and nice meals for when you get home is going to make those who are at work more productive. So it's possible that it could be more economically beneficial to have both working, but is this a long-run solution? Is this going to be what's best for people as individuals? Almost certainly not. More ideas and creativity also, and better decision making also come into this. Think of your dad or whoever worked in your family coming home. Were they a better worker if they had someone else helping them out at home and they didn't have to do these things themselves? Imagine if you have a two-parent household and both are working. They both come home and they're probably arguing a lot because they're stressed as fuck, and they have to go pick up their kids and get them to soccer practice if they even have time to do that. They have to clean the house, they have to make meals if they even have time to do those things. Maybe they just have to hire a maid, in which case, why are you both working? You'd probably be saving money by having one of you stay home. And overall, it's going to be a worse overall life experience for both you, your partner, and your children. So it's just kind of crazy to think that, oh, well, it's only good if both people are working. We need a bigger workforce. That's what's important. The government's incentives, however, if you look through this in the lens of if you look at this through the lens of government incentives, goodness, this makes sense. What does the government want? Well, they want a higher tax base. They don't really give a crap about the people who are at home and how an individual feels and how happy they are. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's completely irrelevant as far as they're concerned. What matters is the tax money. And by doing this, not only do you get taxes from the women who are now working, but you also get taxes from the people who are now taking care of that woman's children. Now, if you have to hire a nanny because both of you are working, or if you have to drop your kids off at daycare, that's more of a demand for government services. So not only do you get to increase your own income through the increased taxes, but you also get to increase the demand for your own labor. And not so much your labor, I suppose the labor of your employees, but you get to increase demand for the services you provide. So it's a double win for the government. It's great, and it's pretty clear that's why they want this. If they cared about the happiness of both the women and men involved, and the long-term happiness of the children involved, they would not want this. No one who's looked at the evidence for single parenthood, or, well, I shouldn't say single parenthood, but kids who are raised away from their parents and women who work, the families, no one who's looked at the evidence for those things thinks that everyone should be working. That they would tell you that's insane.
And in Canada, we have a $150 billion reason to do this well. Because if we move forward on real, meaningful change for gender equality, that's what will add to our GDP in less than a decade.
Here's the second problem with Trudeau's economic argument. He's conflating GDP with strength of the economy. What? Well, yeah. I mean, GDP growth is something. Don't get me wrong, but part of the equation that is used to find GDP is consumption, which might go up. I suppose it would if people are making more money. But the other part is government spending. So basically, if they want GDP to go up, they can just spend more money. And to them, taxing and then spending the money that's the same or better, because they think the government will spend the money better than private individuals. But the truth is, GDP is not really a very good measurement at all. As I said, it can be manipulated, but it also just doesn't really matter to an individual. The things that matter to individuals are basically if you can get a job or not. And part of that is investment. So the more money spent on investment, the more jobs will be created. If Amazon invests more money into their company than spending it on things like, I don't know, a swimming pool for their employees, well, although I suppose that might be considered an investment, because I gotta say, if my work had a swimming pool, it'd be pretty great. But if Amazon invests more money into hiring more people, that in itself does create jobs that are long-term and good jobs. So because of that, what the average citizen should care about is investment and the work rate, or employment opportunities, we'll say that. GDP is basically irrelevant. If you've got a society that 10% of people work but they're incredibly productive, they could potentially have plenty of GDP growth, but the other 90% of society that's just not able to work is going to be very unhappy. So, yeah. GDP growth is fine to look at. There's nothing wrong with it, but to say that it's the most important thing and 150 billion added to GDP, well, it's like the government will get a bunch more taxes, and because the women are now actually earning money directly, well, yeah, okay, GDP is going to go up, sure. Again, we talked about this earlier, but is that going to make people happier? Not really. And is that what affects the economy as a whole, and what makes people happy? And what part of the economy makes people happy? Does it affect that? No, not really. So this is just stupid.
The other part of the story is that whether it's the trades or the STEM fields, there are a number of areas in our economy that offer good middle-class jobs, but have serious labor shortages.
Third part of Trudeau's argument that is dumb, the labor shortages idea. So for there to be labor shortages in an economy, there almost has to be a reason. In a normal economy, let's say nursing is going to be, there's not enough nurses right now, which is true apparently, but I don't know. But anyway, let's say there's not enough nurses right now. What would happen in a free market is the wages for nurses would go up, incentivizing more people to become nurses. But if that's not happening, and that hasn't been happening for some time, there has to be a reason. And there has to be a reason that people don't want to be nurses. Or perhaps they can't become nurses. Or the people who should be increasing the wages of nurses can't do it. If it's not feasible for hospitals to start paying nurses more, then you cannot incentivize more people into becoming nurses. You can run all the TV ads you want. It will not really matter that much. If you do not incentivize people to become nurses in real ways, they will not become nurses. And again, if there's some regulation that gets in the way of becoming a nurse, or there's a limit on how many people can be taken into school to become nurses, then you're going to have shortages. If you let the free market do its thing, and wages increase, and then wages increase along with demand, you will get more people into these positions, and you will fill the gap. But we're not having that happen. I don't know why. Maybe I'll look at it someday. But I'm going to guess that there's some reason, and it's probably from the government here, that it's there. Generally, if you have shortages or surpluses of anything, there's someone in the government who's to blame.
An economy that offer good middle-class jobs, but have serious labor shortages. A lot of those sectors have been male-dominated for a long time.
Ugh! Men do things? This is disgusting. What an outrage.
And we need to make it easier for more people to enter these fields so we can fill these jobs, grow our economy, and strengthen the middle class. That's why gender equality is an issue for everyone.
So basically all your reasons are bullshit. Now, gender equality, and to me gender equality is an equality of opportunity, is important for everyone. I also think we basically have that. Physics degrees are what they should be, probably. I think that the STEM fields have stayed relatively objective through all this silly bullshit that's been happening in the humanities. So I don't know that there's a lot that needs to be changed in STEM fields. Maybe there's something, but a petroleum engineer is still worth like $100,000. So, or I think it's actually way more than that. So it's not like the STEM fields are these silly places where everything is subjective, like feminism or history. Honestly, I took some history courses and they were rough. Anyway, so Trudeau's reasons here are terrible. There probably are some good arguments, and well, as far as equality of opportunity, there's very good moral arguments to why that's a good thing. And I think, again, we more or less have that as far as STEM is concerned. So, basically, he's given us zero reason to do this so far. Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised, though. This is basically what's expected.
If we get this right, we all benefit.
Oh, cringe. This is so... This video is so... Oh, man. It's so scripted. Unlike my videos. It's so scripted, yet it's so bad still. Like, look... Just watch this interaction.
It is an issue for everyone. If we get this right, we all benefit.
If he hasn't done that at least 10 times, I'm surprised. The really shocking thing for me is that they keep still making mistakes. I mean, they've stumbled on their words multiple times. It still looks this bad. It's pretty amazing how poorly made this video is. I really gotta say, this is the Canadian government. I mean, my video is poorly made, but like I'm just some dude with a laptop, so there's a difference there. I bet they spent a lot of money on this. I bet they actually spent a lot of money on this video. We'd probably be surprised.
Minister, what can we do as individuals to advance gender equality?
Good question. Let's see what he says.
Listen, there's no question that our government's going to keep working hard to do our part. But we have to know that everyone has a role to play in creating a more equal Canada. You know, as a parent, one of the most important things I can do is help my kids know that gender equality is something that they can work on concretely. And not just encouraging my daughter to know that she can do anything and be a proud feminist.
Except a stay-at-home mom, because then she'd be a heretic.
But let my sons know that they should be feminists as well, and they can work for gender equality in everything they do.
So basically, the first step is for parents to help the state indoctrinate their children. I see. Okay. Well, surely he's going to tell us now the actual things that we as individuals could do. Surely that's what's about to be told. Yeah. Clearly, he's not just going to mess up answering this predetermined question that I'm sure he is actually reading off of a script for. Surely a good answer is about to come out.
Make their words and actions be part of making our world more gender equal. I want them to understand that gender equality is about making sure everyone has a real chance to succeed in our society. We're making
It's like the fuck up number 3 or 4. Okay. You're reading a script. Stop.
gender equality a priority in everything we do as a government, but as a society, there's still a lot of work left for us all to do. So I want everyone to think about what you can do to move us closer to gender equality, because all of us can make a difference, even in small, everyday ways.
Complete non-answer. Her original question was, what can we as individuals do? And he's just like, oh, you know, you need to think about it. We haven't thought about it enough to know. I think that's like actually what he's saying. It's like, well, we don't know. We don't know what you're supposed to do. You as individuals are just supposed to be more feminist, I guess. The only thing that he actually said was to try to get your children to become feminists. That's what you as individuals can do to help. It's so ridiculous. That's just such a terrible answer. Again, I keep saying it, but this has got to be a scripted video, just considering how they're talking, how they're speaking. They couldn't come up with a better answer than that? Wow. It's unreal. I can't believe it. Yeah, anyway.
This week, you could join the conversation online. Use the hashtag #EveryoneBenefits and tell us why gender equality matters to you.
Happy Gender Equality Week.
If this is not scripted, I'll shoot myself. Straight up. There's an air rifle in this house. I will shoot myself with it. If there is proof, I will do it. Probably in the foot or something. You know, it would still hurt though. People disrespect air rifles, but they still hurt. Anyway, wow, just wow. This video was really terrible, and it just makes me really happy that Canadian taxpayer dollars were spent on this. It's just so wonderful to know that the hard-earned money of Canadians was spent on making this atrocious video. I think I'm done with this. It was a pretty pathetic showing from Mr. Trudeau, but I suppose I don't really expect anything else from him. Don't worry, though. He's going to get at least one more term, possibly 2. Yeah. Anyway. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.